Marco, my man.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Likewise.
How's the coronavirus treating you?
It sucks, basically. I cannot go shooting, so it sucks.
This is a great friend of mine, Marco, here. I'm just going to give him a little bit of an intro that he deserves. So, Marco, he's not only been a 6-time Winter Olympian, but that is also a record for the amount of attendees. I found that out today. 6 Winter Olympians is a record. At the time he achieved it, he was one of the oldest people ever to win a World Cup race. And something else I learned about you today, that in your last race, you skied down the hill in a tuxedo, high-fiving everybody on the way down. So we'll get into that later on. So it's the day of Olympians. We've gone from Olympian this morning to Olympian tonight. We appreciate you coming on. If you don't mind, before we get into Marco the shooter, everybody wants to hear about Marco the skier.
Don't worry, that's fine. That's most of the part I talk about my skiing, my ancient career, less than about shooting, I have to admit.
Well, we're gonna talk about both.
Good. I like that.
So as usual, guys, blast your questions below, and we'll get into Marco and see if we can pull some information out of him. The most important question of all, Marco, which beer do you drink?
Right now I'm drinking a Portuguese beer, Super Bock.
So Marco, what got you into skiing and what age did you start?
I started when I was 2 years old. My parents took me skiing when I was 2 years old. Skiing has a huge tradition in my home country in Liechtenstein. And I had role models. We had different athletes in Liechtenstein who already won medals at the Olympic Games. So skiing is it's part of our history in Liechtenstein. So my parents put me on skis when I was 2 years old. I was kindergarten ski school, which was a lot of fun. And afterwards, I was probably blessed with lots of energy, and my energy I had, I was releasing at every sports club there was in Liechtenstein. And I have to admit, I sucked at pretty all of them. I was really not talented. But the only thing I was really good at, my own personal playground, and I loved it. And somehow a dream was born. I wanted to become a professional ski racer, and it took me lots of hard work, sweat, and tears. And but it was the best decision I could.
When did you realize you were good?
I was late. To be honest, I was just too lazy to go to work. And my dad, the only thing he wanted me to do was to finish that sports college, which I did. And then I asked him to be a professional ski racer for 2 years because I was too lazy to work. And my results were not really good. I have to admit, not really good. But after these 2 years, my dad approached me again and he said, well, now, son, I think it's time to work. And I said, well, give me 2 more years. And then I started to dig in deep and train really hard. And then it suddenly picked off. And I got my first World Cup points. And ever since, my dad was leaving me alone. And then it was just going like...
Yeah, you had a hell of a career. And not only a hell of a career, but it's any... Whether we depict it as skiing or not, that's a long career.
It was 20 seasons, 19 years as a professional ski racer. It was fun, I have to say. And if you ask me, I would have gone until 65, but it's not realistic. It's not like shooting.
I've got quite a few questions on your career here, and we'll have more from the floor. How intense was your training?
In ski racing, you have a 7-month training period every year. So basically, as in every other sport, you have to invest 10,000 hours just to make it to the top level. Top level means finishing 35th at the World Cup race, being nowhere. Yeah, but you have to invest 10,000 hours. In my case, probably it was 12,000. And then every year you train for 7 months. Monday till Friday, sometimes also Saturday, Sunday off because you need recovery. I don't have to tell you this. And it's a 7-month intense training period, and then it's a 3.5 month racing season. So this happens every year.
So one of the, as a professional sportsman, athlete, shooter, it doesn't matter what. If you reach to the goal of where you performed, the training schedule and the professional schedule is intense. And the question that I always like to ask the most, and you can only ask it to high-profile athletes, the dedication that you gave it must have also come at some losses in other areas of your life that you gave up, that you missed out on.
Well, professional sport is not a job. It's a life dedication.
Yeah.
It's the meaning of life. This is the purpose of life. That's the center of life. And that means, on the other hand, you have to let go so many other things.
Yes.
To commit yourself. And you miss so many things, but, it doesn't come easy.
No, it doesn't. And
it doesn't come easy. And there's no shortcut. There is no shortcut. You have to do the work.
And I think what Michael Diamond said earlier, there's no accidental champions.
No, never.
There's no accidental champions. Never. When you look back at your career as a professional ski racer, as a Olympian, as somebody that's remembered in history for what they achieved in skiing, were the losses worthwhile?
Yes. Because my philosophy is that when you win, you learn nothing.
That's correct.
When you lose, you learn.
Yeah.
If you don't learn anything when you lose, you're just plain dumb.
Yeah.
Because when you don't win, even if you're second, third, fourth, you didn't win. You have something to learn because somebody was better. And
somebody did something better. Yeah. Or what?
Why?
Or what?
Yes. Yeah. And you have to find out how you screwed up because you didn't win. And that's a learning curve. And if you don't take that step to learn something, you're just plain dumb.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. But I've sat back and looked at my career, and you sit back and you think, I missed out on a lot. And if you ask me right now, are they worth it? It's like, would I want my children to give up what I gave? I don't know if I give the same answer as you. I don't know.
But I tell you one thing. Sport is the best life school.
Yeah.
It is. Because you learn so much about yourself. And it learns you so many things for life.
Yeah.
And anytime I lost a race, and some of them were horrible, I wouldn't want to miss it. Do I want to change them? Of course I want.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to miss the experience I had on these days.
No, I agree with that. That part I do agree with. On that subject you just touched on, talk to me about crashes and injuries.
No, I was lucky. But this implies a longer answer. I don't know how familiar you are with the types of skis. I was brought
you
up...
You start at the top and you finish at the bottom, and if you're lucky, you're on your feet.
That's a good one. Now, if you look at the skis nowadays, they have a side cut. And that means you can carve the skis pretty good and you get G-forces in the turn. But when I was growing up, skis were pretty much straight. And there was no side cut and no much G-forces. So this is, back in the days, was really good for knees and your back. But nowadays, with all the G-forces, this is really bad for your back and your knees. So many ACL injuries, so many back problems at a young age already. So the time the side cut skis came up, my body was already completely developed. My back was good. My knees were good. My tendons were strong. So I didn't have any major problem. I had crashes. I had a couple of broken bones, concussions, whatever. It wasn't that bad. But was I scared at the start? Hell yes, I was.
Don't worry. My big one in capitals here says we'll get to that later on. A great question here. What sort of speeds did you reach?
Miles or kilometers per hour? Well, the highest I reached was 155 in a race. 55 kilometers an hour. That was the maximum speed I reached. The world record at a World Cup race is 162, but this is after a minute and 45 of skiing. That race particularly is you ski for 1 minute and 45. Your legs are burning, your lungs are burning, and your vision gets narrowed.
Yeah, you tunnel vision.
You're totally done.
Yeah.
And then you ski down this dark, steep, icy pitch, and in your head, everything screams, "Don't do this." But you go down and you're freaking fast, and yeah.
And away you go. These next questions I have for you, they sort of tie into each other. So people, and I find this amazing, and that's why I was really interested to ask you this. People say they get onto a station at a tournament, and they get scared. So the scared that they're talking about, what fear did you have to overcome at the top of that mountain?
Well, we're talking about two different kinds of fears.
Yeah, correct. But you still have to overcome them.
The one fear I was confronted with every day was getting hurt or dying.
Yeah. Which is a realistic prospect.
It's a really realistic one.
Yeah.
And the second one is the fear of not performing, losing. Yeah. So the second one is a lot of pressure. And the only thing I overcame it was with practice. Every time I practice in training the same routine as on race day was not new to me.
Yeah.
This is what I say in shooting as well. In performing in training as much likely as you do in a competition, then it's nothing new. Have your routine. And as long as you have a routine and you do it more often, you get more acquainted to it, and then it gets easier. That's my point of view. The other one is fear of getting hurt, and that's not an easy one.
No pre-shot routine is going to stop your fear of dying. I do know that.
No. There are two voices in your head. It's like the angel and the devil on your shoulders. And basically, it's the conscious and the subconscious. And fear is a feeling of the subconscious. And that subconscious is so much bigger than your conscious in your head. But the only thing you can do is to volume it down. Fear is there, but your head can dictate your belly to just be quiet. Not that loud. I hear you. I accept you. I know how to work with you. But a little bit quiet now. I need you later on, but not now. And my point is always a professional ski racer, a downhill racer is a master in tuning down that voice. Everybody's afraid at the start. Do they admit it? Never. Everybody talks about respect. I have respect for it. Nobody admits that he has fear. But trust me, I've seen some white faces at the start.
You've just said then one of the most interesting things we've had said in 47 days. Nobody else has said it apart from me, is that you accept it. I think that is so important. People say I ignore it. People say I block it out. Those two are impossible.
That's my point.
Winners accept it, deal with it, spit it out, go.
Deal with it. Accept it. Learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I love to tone it down, make it a little bit quieter. You can come out later, loud enough, don't worry. But for now, a little bit quiet, and I handle things.
Yeah, no,
but trust me, fear is always there.
I can't say that any better. And these people that sit there and they say, no, you just got to ignore it. How do you ignore it? It's shouting at me.
Subconscious is so much stronger than your conscious. Your belly is so much louder and stronger than your head.
Yeah, no, I agree. You got to accept it and move on.
Yes.
What did you? Were you superstitious on the start line? And what mental preparation did you do before you take off?
I was not so superstitious. The only thing I always did was get into the left ski first. The left boot. In the morning, the left sock, the left boot, the left ski. Always left first. I'm a lefty. That's the only thing. Other than that, it was a routine. Everything was a routine. 6 to 8 minutes before my start, I entered the start house. There was my technician waiting for me and my physiotherapist. The technician puts the skis on the ground. I present him my boot. He cleans them off. I go in on the left side. He cleans my right boot. I get in the right side. I put up my skis. He really polishes them both. And then he looks me in the eye, and this was very important. We looked each other in the eye, shake the hand, and he yelled at me that I'm the best and the best and the best. And I said, yes, I'm the best. And the one thing that really happens there, we look each other in the eye, and I need to have confidence that he gives me the pair of skis that he thinks I'm going to win. And he needs to see in my eyes that I'm committed to give 100% on that day. Then I close my buckles, the upper ones. I warm up a little bit more. 2 minutes prior to my start, I see the racer ahead of me. Other than that, I didn't look at any racer, but I look at the one ahead of me. I see him go out to start. I see him the first couple of gates. I go back, close my lower buckles, take my goggles down. I really put a lot of tension on my core. And 15 seconds before my start, I put my poles over the starting gate. I close my eyes. I concentrate on the first couple of gates, and then I go live. So it
was quite detailed though, and you still remember it now.
Yeah.
I could sit there. You could see how silent I was. I could sit there and listen to stuff like this forever. And
I did this for years. Routine.
You find in champions the routine is so ingrained and detailed. And it's interesting that you said, like he said to you, you're the best. You're the best. You're the best. Now, one of my great idols, Muhammad Ali. He said, I said I was the greatest long before I was.
Yeah.
Because he had to believe it. Yes. He had to believe that he was. Otherwise, there's literally no point in you being there. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
You're not at the start of a very, very gnarly, steep race thinking, oh, am I one of the best? No, you don't. No, you don't. You have to be committed. You're up there going like, yeah, I'm the best. Get out of my way. I'm going to eat you.
Here I come. Now, my skiing knowledge, as we spoke when we shot together, is very limited. I don't fancy being my weight going down a hill strapped to 2 pieces of wood. Doesn't interest me at all. But talk to me about the gates. Are they always the same?
No, it all depends on what kind of discipline. There are 4 disciplines, major discipline: slalom, giant slalom, you got downhill, and between giant slalom and the downhill, you got the super giant slalom, super G. But basically, as one of my idols said, slalom and giant slalom are disciplines, downhill is cult. So I was a downhiller. And
but what I mean by that is it always right, left, right, or do you have to study the route before every race?
You have to study the route. The thing is that the mountain.
So your preparation starts way out.
Yes, the mountain is always the same, and with the GPS they locate the gates every time from one year to another. They're pretty much the same, but not always.
Okay.
And you also a couple of days before you have official training runs, but you memorize the whole course, every inch of it. You memorize how to approach a gate, how it looks like, how it ends on the next side, how the snow is, how bumpy it is. You memorize everything. That when you ski along with 120 kilometers an hour and you don't see the next gate, you have to know exactly how to ski and where to ski.
Yeah,
that's a key point. Inspection is a very, very important key point.
I love this. This is amazing for me. Let's lighten things up a bit. What is your worst oh shit moment?
I got 2 moments. One is funny and one is not so funny.
I'll probably laugh at the wrong one.
Okay, I start with the not so funny one. World Championships 2007 in Sweden, downhill. We had 3 training runs and I was making a huge, really strong impression. And I nailed and I dominated the final training run. I beat everybody by a second and I knew on race day, if everything goes well, I will make a medal. That's for sure. I cannot screw it up. So I skied down, and on the last split, the very last split, I was still in second position. And within one turn, I stepped with the inside ski, with the tip of my inside ski, I stepped on the outside ski, and in slow motion, I fell. And I was lying there going like, what the hell just happened? What just happened?
Did it happen in slow motion to you?
Well, I was skiing 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I know that.
My body just moved over and I couldn't react, and I just fell, and my dream was shattered within a few seconds.
Yeah,
and it would have been my dream.
Just one slip. Just one slip.
And the funny one was, there was a World Cup race in Switzerland, and a couple of days earlier, I was on the podium at a World Cup race. So my confidence was very high. And on that day, I was starting bib number 1. And I skied down and came to the finish area. And I just somehow, I had the gut feeling that this was good. And I celebrated like hell into the camera. And I kissed my skis and I go, yeah! And my wife said afterwards, why? Because with bib number 1, you have no idea how the other ski. Just don't do this. And bib number 2 beat me by 2 seconds. And the next one as well, and the next one as well. And at the end, I was 28th place. So that was rather embarrassing.
They're the bits you remember. Before I carry on, there's quite a few questions on here that I.
Oh, sorry.
No. Before I carry on, we had quite a few questions on here.
Yes.
When you skiing, are you in your subconscious on the run, or are you planning the next turn?
No, you're planning. Your conscious is in control, but please don't put away the subconscious. That's one thing that always, in certain moments, in certain situations where you cannot think, where you just have to act out of instinct, the subconscious is always there.
Perfect.
This is always there, but the subconscious needs programming. That means
training. The 12,000 hours.
Yes. So that's the subconscious. Then you are riding on a flow.
Hi, Marco. How far in front are you looking and planning on the way down the hill?
Well, that's the funny thing. The couple of meters ahead of you, that's the center of the universe for you right now. You're totally focused. And the faster you go, the further you look ahead. So in downhill, when you're skiing down 140, 150 Ks, so the next 20 to 30 meters are coming really quickly at you. So this is the point of view the whole time. The whole time you look ahead.
There was a great question earlier on. At the 150K,
yes.
What's your stopping distance?
Oh, I have no idea. I never tried to approach that. I never did. No, the easier thing is just to get up and let the wind force
deceleration.
But I tell you this: the sound in your helmet is a different quality at 150 than 120. It is getting very loud.
Really?
Yes, it is getting loud. Well, stick your head out the window at 150 kilometers an hour from your car.
How did you learn your course visualization?
Practice. And in the beginning, I was all wrong. Sometimes it's instinct. Because you look at a gate, you stand at the gate, and you see the next gate, and you have to visualize yourself coming there with 100 kilometers an hour, and just approximately know where you have to initiate the turn in order to make it. But it comes with practice. Most of the things come with practice.
Did you walk the courses? Do you ski the courses?
No, you slide down very slowly.
But no, I mean at the very beginning.
No, sliding.
Always sliding and looking and learning.
Slowly. But sometimes you look at a gate and you see the next one. There it is. And you hike up again. And you look from this angle. You slide down. You look at it again. Oh, I need to see it again. So you hike up again.
Okay. So you press reverse. Back you go. Back you go.
Yes.
Get it. Understandable.
Yes.
Yeah.
But an inspection always took about 1 hour. Always.
And how long does it take you to come down in total? When you're blitzing?
1 hour.
What? No. I mean, when you're flat out, race time, what was your time?
Well, a regular downhill race is about 2 minutes.
So 2 minutes. So that's the difference. You know, it's
Yes.
You're putting some serious percentages in there to
Yes.
make that happen.
Yeah.
Do you do any, not so much now if you do, or did you then, did you do any visualization exercises?
Key part. Very important part. Very important.
Can you key us in?
Well, for example, when we talk about the inspection, I do an inspection. I go there and inspect gate 1, gate 2, gate 3. I visualize gate 1, how it looks when I approach it, gate 2, gate 3. Then I slide down and I look at gate 4. I hike up again to gate 2, and then I visualize gate 2, 3, and 4. Go down to gate 5, look at that, visualize gate 3, 4, 5. Then combine everything together, gate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always visualize. Everything I do, I visualize. Every turn I do before I ski it, I visualize.
So then I suppose your mind and your eyes are your GPS, aren't they?
Yes, yes, exactly. Visualizing is very important.
You're not going to get a voice in your head that says, "Marco, you have missed the turn. Take the next left."
No. In my head, it always went perfect.
You have missed the turning. What is your favorite course and why?
That's a difficult one because there's so many classic ones. For example, there are two big ones, two classic downhills. That's Wengen and Kitzbühel. These are the big ones. And you can become Olympic champion, you can become world champion, but among the downhill family, you are not a big downhiller unless you have won Kitzbühel or Wengen.
Oh, really?
It's like the holy grail.
Yeah.
It's like Wimbledon in tennis. It's Monaco for Formula One. Kitzbühel, for example, is the one.
What makes it so?
It freaks you out because you're scared as hell. If you, well, that's the worst. Kitzbühel is, you need balls. You need balls that are huge, and you need lots of courage. And Kitzbühel produces heroes, and Kitzbühel produces lots of patients, lots of hospital patients. So it's in between. You make it down, you finish the race, you're one of the heroes, even though you didn't win, you have achieved something.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes. So Kitzbühel and Wengen, these two classic downhills are among my favorites, but there's one which is a typical modern downhill. It's in the United States. It's called the Birds of Prey in Beaver Creek. That is a very modern downhill that combines everything: flat sections, steep sections, long turns, tight turns, lots of jumps. So that's a very spectacular one.
Superb. This is a really interesting question. I was going to ask this, and David Jennings has just put it up there.
Yeah.
So when I visualize a course,
yes,
I can go back to 1998. I can go back to 2000. I can see every target I shot at the World Championships. Mm-hmm. Can you still close your eyes and see the course?
Most of them, yes. Most of them I still can.
Yeah, the ones you want to remember.
Yes. And I still remember lots of races, how I approached certain gates, where I lost certain medals, where I won certain races. Sometimes it hurts to look back.
Yeah, big time.
I have to admit, when you're on your way to an Olympic medal and there's one turn you screw up and you lose the Olympic medal just because of one simple turn, that hurts. But I know exactly how it felt to come into that turn, to approach it. And I was, the funny thing was, prior to the start, I knew exactly which turn is going to be tricky. Don't go in too straight. Give it a little bit of room. Approach from behind so you can come out cleaner, because on the second part of the turn, there's a bump and you don't want to hit that bump. And on race day, I got there and I got all tired. And in my head, I was like, fuck this, let's go straight. And I got into that bump and I lost the medal. So some things are hurtful to look back.
Yeah, I totally agree. Hello, Harriet.
Have you got any chocolate?
I'm going in a minute. I've gotten desperate. Harriet said hello earlier. I told her she remembered meeting you at Dornsburg.
Yes.
Okay. The last question on skiing, I promise. No, I don't. Role models and idols. You said you have them. Who were yours? And what I would like to know is, who is your role model in skiing? Who is your sporting role model outside of skiing?
My role model in skiing back in the days were the Liechtenstein ski racers, Wenzel, Frommel, my Liechtenstein athletes here. They were my role models. Then when I entered the World Cup, I still had role models. I didn't say it out loud, but as soon as I beat them, I lost them. I didn't have any role models anymore as soon as I beat them. Outside, well, Liechtenstein is right next to Switzerland, and everybody says Roger Federer. So
we'll go with Roger.
No, well, there are lots of athletes that inspire me. Lots and lots. And I cannot tell them how I appreciate whatever they do. Not just in skiing, but so many other sports. But I don't have any certain name that I hang up.
Yeah.
Yes.
What this is an interesting one. Did you try and psych each other out, or did you respect that you're putting your lives on the line and just leave each other to it?
What was that again?
So with each other as competitors, with fellow racers, did you respect that this is life on the line, we leave each other alone, or were there mind games? Was there psyching out?
No, there was no mind games. There was no mind fucks. The thing is that we are not competing against each other on the same time. We have a 2-minute start interval. Everybody fights with his ability against the mountain. And in the end, at the finish area, if somebody's faster, then he did better.
Yeah, so shake his hand and move on.
And at the start, even we wished each other good luck. But there was no more talking 5 minutes prior to the start. That's for sure. You can be perfectly good friends, but as soon as you enter the start house, you don't talk to each other anymore because you want to beat everybody else. You want to beat your teammate. You want to beat the guy ahead of you, the guy starting behind you. You want to beat everybody's ass. But you can still be friends off the race.
But I might be totally wrong with this, but my analysis of what you're saying to me is, you've also got to take your body and your mind to the edge closer than somebody else.
Yes.
Which in shooting you don't have to do. You know, you've got to stay on the calm and not ride the wave. But you had to push the boundaries.
But can I ask you, when you're at the shooting competition, do you mind fuck other shooters?
Yeah.
You do?
Everybody does. All the top level do. Everybody at the top does.
No.
I've received Facebook messages, text messages, random numbers from people.
Right when you stand there and you go pull and somebody yells into your ear or something like that, that doesn't happen, right?
No, but I've been in a shoot off where somebody slipped, and as I'm calling pull, they've kicked the hoop from under me, and there's no way they slipped.
That's not sportsmanship.
No. I agree.
That's
I
not
agree.
fair.
I wouldn't take part. I wouldn't take part in that part of it.
No.
But no, and I don't. No, me neither. No, that's disrespectful.
Have respect for any other competition or a competitor, and just leave him alone while he's in focus and trying to.
No, that part I agree. I want to know. My career has been long. It's been highly successful in my eyes.
Yeah.
But whoever I beat, I want to beat them at their best.
Yes, of course.
I don't want to kick a hoop to put him off to beat him, because I've got to look myself in the mirror the next day and know I did not beat him at his best, and I want to beat everybody when they were at their peak. I want to say, you know what, I beat you. I won that world championship. I was my best. You were you best, and on that day, it was me. I don't want to beat somebody on the back of something else.
That is worth something. That is worth a lot. And if you don't beat him, so he was better.
Yeah, exactly. I've never had a problem shaking anybody's hand. I will shake anybody's hand. Doesn't interest me. No, not a problem.
But it doesn't matter if you're shooting or any other kind of sport.
100%.
Fair sportsmanship.
Yeah, and rugby the same way.
Rugby is very fair sport. It's a very fair sport.
And I'm the same thing. If I beat you, I want you at your best.
Yes, and I hold that value very high. That's very important to me.
100%. Okay. Lots of questions coming in again. So, Marco came down hills at 150 miles an hour. He held the Olympic record for 6 Olympic Games in a row. He decides he's having one last race, and he comes down in a tuxedo and shorts. Talk me through that before we move on to shooting.
My technician always wanted me to ski down in a Borat bathing suit.
A mankini.
Not gonna happen. No, since I was the oldest one to retire, I thought, first of all, I have to do it in style. And second of all, I go into a new professional direction. I have to make an impression that is nice and represent something. But I couldn't resist on the short pants. I just couldn't resist. So it's not a typical tuxedo, but the short pants make it a little bit special since I consider myself not average.
Right. Then how did you find shooting, Marco?
I have to blame my wife. That's the funny thing. In 2007, my wife decided to give me something for my birthday because she didn't know what to give me. And she decided to give me clay shooting for one day. And I said, why not? And the first bird flew and I hit it. And I was totally, this is great. This is what I want to do more often. But, as a professional ski racer, I didn't have the time to commit myself to this. And afterwards, I just lost track somehow. And I think in 2017, somebody took me shooting again. And I thought to myself, I have to start. So by the fall of 2017, I bought my first gun. And I was sitting at home with a gun, thinking to myself, so what can I do now? And one of my friends said he heard something about a shooting range in Germany. So I drove out to Donsbach. That was in fall 2017. And I started shooting.
The question everyone wants to know, what did you bring across? What did you think my skill set and my training regime, I can bring this across into this sport?
Two things I learned that are very important in shooting: concentration and practice, and a third one, routine. Any other than that, I'm a novice. I had to learn so many things that were new to me, so many things I had no idea about. And there's one major difference, because a lot of people, when they see me shooting, especially in a competition, they think that since I'm a former athlete, I must be good at concentration. I agree. I'm really good at concentration. But the big difference is this. When I started the downhill race, I was concentrated and focused at the start. I go out and for 2 minutes, I have 5 balls in the air, juggling, and I had really no time to think. I had to perform. In shooting, you have one shot, one bird, then you have to reload, you have time to think. And this was new to me. So you're in a competition, the first bird flies, and you miss it, your brain goes, oh shit, I missed it. Oh, the next one, I have to hit it. And this is totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. This is a mind fuck, I have to say. And I have to learn this. I have to really learn this. I'm not really good at this. Not yet.
So, but that's where your routine will help. And, it's amazing what you said, because any kind of pre-shot routine in shooting is designed to fill every void of downtime where he cannot speak.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to fill.
But still, my last competition I did, I was there ready to shoot, and somebody's cell phone rang. Or there was no bird. Oh, this thing is broken, and my concentration was gone. And this should not happen.
Yeah.
Practice, as you said, practice.
But a
I'm
normal,
only shooting 2 years.
yeah, but a normal person coming into the sport without your background would not be doing the analysis that you're doing and finding the answers so fast.
I think that is an important key. I think that is very important.
That's very important.
Yeah.
One thing that interests me, and I never spoke to you about this because I didn't think about it in time. Would you say, and this will be really interesting for me as an instructor, your hands, as in right hand, left hand from the skiing, are equally as strong?
I never thought about that.
Well, no, and it came to me today, and I was like, why did I not think of that on his lesson? Because everybody in shooting has a dominant hand.
Yes. Me too.
Now, I'm not sure you have. Not dominant as in it's the one I want to use. We all have that. But my right hand's stronger than my left. That's fact. It's gonna be part of shooting. I'm not so certain yours would be.
No, mine. I think mine are not. There's not one that is stronger than the other because I never explicitly trained one better than the other in skiing. The only thing that was really important was my core. The arms are not the one thing, except for the start, where I really use them. And I think that for shooting, I cannot tell if one arm is stronger than the other.
Yeah, we'll talk about this another time. We might do another podcast on this because that would be highly interesting because I believe in shooting, one hand has to lead.
Yes, I agree. But I cannot tell you if one is stronger than the other. No, but
mine's easy to understand because I know this one will outwork this one, so I can control that. If you don't know which one's doing what, that's a whole nother podcast.
I got a question for you. Don't you think that when you have a certain routine, a certain amount of practice, you get into that flow kind of situation where you do things automatically, your subconscious is taken over, and you see a bird come and you don't have to think. The only thing that moves really with your conscience is your brain and your eyes, and the arms do automatically exactly what they intend to do.
Yes, until you have to hit it.
And that's a rational decision.
And that's when the subconscious doesn't take over and you've got to make him move.
Okay.
In training, everything will be great. If I say to you, right, Marco, national championship, you've got to hit the last pair, I promise you'll move different.
I agree.
Until you know how to not do it.
I agree because I get nervous then.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's when one arm not knowing what you could do is interesting. But that could be a whole other hour. We could get to that another time.
Interesting.
Seeing as you're used to a sport where things are moving at 150 kilometers an hour, do you find it easy to pick up the clays?
Totally different situation.
Yeah.
The thing is, in skiing, it's from the top of your head down to your toes. Everything has to work. Your body's constantly moving from one gate to another, and it's a complex alignment of movements in your body. And in shooting, it's not that much. It is movement involved, but it's not that much.
Yeah.
It's like comparing
apples and oranges.
Apples.
Yeah,
it is different. But trust me, it's very difficult.
Yeah, but are there any similarities that you've managed to bring across?
Not obvious ones. Not really obvious.
No, and I think it's amazing because people think if you're good at a sport, you're good at sport.
No, yeah, but that.
I know it's conjunctive. It's what you're going to be doing.
For example, Mo Farah is probably not a good wrestler.
No.
So
definitely not. I'd wrestle him as long as I didn't let go of him because I'd never catch him.
So good at sport doesn't mean good at sport.
No. I agree with you, but I think that's the general.
But the approach to it can be very similar. Correct. As I said,
that's my next question. Yes. Before you get to a competition,
yes,
on your way there, your years of training must have. You will know how to prep.
I know how to prep. Meanwhile.
Yeah.
But I need more training in shooting
Correct.
in order to feel, as you said, the routine, the preparation to each bird which is coming along. I want to hit. The preparation to that I have to learn. But other than that, coming into a competition, years of training I had before helps me for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a question here from Robert Eggins. He's one of the best gamekeepers in the country. And he says, Marco, have you tried game shooting? Now, one thing, I don't know the answer to this, but I do know he knows how to dress like he does.
That is very important, to dress like you go game shooting.
So have you been game shooting, Marco?
Yes, I've been twice.
Yeah,
I have been in England, the Yorkshire Dales.
Yeah.
Shooting pheasants, and it has been one of the most beautiful experiences I had shooting. It was so beautiful. I'm jealous that you guys can do it more often. And I have been a second time in Central Europe as well, and I really love it. It is beautiful.
When you were at the start line, what drove you on? Success or fear? And do you think that could be a weakness in your clay shooting, that your life is simply not on the line? If you don't break that clay, you go home, it doesn't matter. Do you think you need some kind of danger to perform?
No, I don't need that. Fear was never the one thing that kept me going. It was rather the will for, or the desire for success. To be honest, I need the stage. I need the stage. I need the public. I need an audience. I always needed that. I can perform better, in skiing at least, when I have an audience. In shooting, it's a little bit different. If I have Ben Husthwaite in my back looking at me when I shoot, I get nervous. But other than that...
I would do. If he was watching me, I'd get nervous.
Yeah, right. I remember Parasi coming in when you were standing behind me, and I thought to myself, you have to hit it. You have to hit it. You embarrassed it yourself. And I was nervous. No, in skiing, I needed the audience, and success was my motivation, and not fear. Fear. No.
There's a question for you. What's the view like out the window behind you?
Well, if you want to, I'll show you quickly.
Oh, wow.
Mountains.
Imagine that, a skier in a mountain.
Well, we still got snow on the on top of the mountains. So,
last couple of questions.
Yes.
How, on a scale of 1 to 10, on the start gate or about to shoot your first peg at a major championship, where's the buzz?
What do you mean the buzz?
When I stand at the first peg of the World Championship, my buzz is at 10.
Really?
I can't wait to do this. This is what I'm here for. This is what I do. I want to win. The adrenaline. Where's your adrenaline factor?
The adrenaline factor is at a 10. But the
on
buzz,
both?
No. But the buzz, like, let me go, let me shoot, I want to win, I would say that's a 8.5.
Right.
8.5. The
Yeah,
1.5 is still the nervousness that I could screw it up.
What about when you were skiing?
9.5.
And half is shit, don't die.
Yes. True. It is true.
Last question for you, sir. Highs and lows of your career. I want to finish with your career that made you who you are. Thank you for touching on your shooting. And I've seen you shoot. I think you've got more talent than what you believe. That's what we'll pull out. But talk us through the highs and lows of Marco's career.
My high was definitely winning Kitzbühel. That was pretty much the most emotional thing I achieved in my career. When you're on top of that podium in the evening, and there's a crowd of 30,000 people, and your anthem is played, and the announcer yells, "Winner of Kitzbühel, Marco Buechel." That goes deep, and these are the moments that you will never forget in your whole life.
Yeah.
The lows. Well, looking back, I didn't have many.
That's a great career. That's a great career.
It always looks bad. I could have won a lot more races. I had one incident. The last World Championships I did, 2009, I had a mental breakdown. I couldn't handle pressure anymore. That was the one sign that showed me I have to retire. Even though I did one more year, but it was the one incident that showed me that I need to retire. I cannot handle the pressure anymore. I break. And ending my career, I was crying because I took away the one thing I loved the most.
Yep.
But on the other hand, it was the wisest decision I ever took, that I still left ahead of the game. I was still top 10 in the world. I left everything for good. But
I think it's quite important in any sport.
Yes.
One thing's going to break, your mind or your body.
Yes. And my body didn't break, it was my mind.
Yeah, and you got to know which is which.
Yes, true.
Superb, man. Absolutely epic. Look, I'm proud to call you a friend.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us. That was, well, you could see I loved it because I was quiet. Marco, love to you, love to the family. Stay safe in these times, and I can't wait to get back out there and shoot with you. You're a gentleman of our sport. You're a champion of your sport. So
let's go shooting again.
Can't wait.
Thank
Marco,
you,
stay safe. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Guys, I said we were going to try and bring different things to these podcasts, and there's another absolutely epic one.